In my earlier videos, I had posed a question. How do you know that you're managing your investing successfully? And the answer was that when you're sure that you're growing your savings well enough to provide for your goals, that is what you want to have, to do, and to be. So, do you know your goals? Is it just a vague idea or is it something more definite? How real is this in your mind? Because that's what decides whether it will happen or will instant gratification take over. Have you taken the first step to making it happen? These are some of the questions I'll be answering in this video. There are so many things to choose from that unless you know what exactly you want in your life, what you want to own or experience before you kick the bucket, you will be living your life as if you're walking into a huge shopping mall without a clue as to why you're there and what you want to buy. And then you know what happens. When you leave the shopping mall, you have a huge bill to pay on your credit card and loads of things you don't have the place to keep or the time to use it. You have eaten some junk food and had some drinks and you can't remember where you parked your car. Well, you don't want to live your life like this, do you? We don't want this to happen to us. And it's not a rocket science to prevent this. All you need is to make sure you have a shopping list. Since this is the ultimate shopping list, before you kick the bucket, it is called the bucket list. In this section, we will learn about making your bucket list and then about creating a financial plan to funding it. First, to make it easier, think of your bucket list as having two parts. The first, core bucket list. Doing these things will make you feel good about yourself. This contains all the things that you hold yourself accountable for. The stuff that you accept comes with the role that you play in your lives. Call it duty to self, to others if you wish. Here are some examples. 1. Living a comfortable life. 2. Living well even after retirement. Providing a life of dignity for your old parents. Marrying and having a family. Educating your children and getting them married. This is a list of things that makes you feel that you have played your role well and you feel satisfied. And you feel bad if you didn't, and that's the feeling you don't want to live with. These things are essential to keep the core of who you are healthy, stable, and guilt-free. The last part is important because others might have different expectations from you than what you choose to put in this list. An important sub-list in the core list is what you need to live currently. These include things that you need regularly and on an ongoing basis. And together, they make up your living expenses. We will work on this a little later. The other items on the core list are events in the future, and it helps you to write these down and the date by which you expect them to happen. This is your core bucket list. Once you have this list, you are free to think about the other things, and that brings us to the second list. This is called the joy bucket list. Doing these things will give you great joy. What are the things you want to do that you think will make you say, hey, I lived my life well and I've done the things that I dreamed of and wanted to do. This could include seeing the world, or at least a part of it, owning a house or a particular vehicle, starting your own business, taking a sabbatical, supporting a cause, etc. These goals help us expand ourselves, experience more, and live our dreams. This is our joy bucket list. Filling this bucket requires a deeper understanding of what makes us happy, and this makes it a little complicated. Why? Because we are not sure why we want these things and why we believe they will make us happy. Or are some of these things really driven by what others are doing? Or are you pushed to conform? Recognize this as you make your list, but don't let it stop you from creating your joy bucket list. Now let's make it real. Look at the items on your list, and if you are not excited about it, it's because of how you probably describe this item in your list in your mind. Most people follow the एक बड़ा सा घर होना चाहिए और एक अच्छी सी गाड़ी approach to describing their dreams. With this approach, I'm afraid you may not be very thrilled when you have achieved your dreams simply because you really didn't know why exactly you wanted them in the first place. You need to add details describing what you want. Then go to Google and get some more details, and if possible an image, and add this to your list. If it's a car, specify which car, model, color, etc. and add these images to your list. Describe what you want in more than just a word. Make it rich with images and sound if possible. Represent what you want in a way that makes it more desirable and gets your energy flowing thinking about it. This is your secret weapon against getting sucked into instant gratification items. You imagining your goals, rich in details, will motivate you to do what is necessary to achieve these. Find out what it costs today and add that to your list. For example, if you are looking at your child's higher education, look at the possible colleges he or she might want to go to and the cost of college tuition, hostel fees, etc. Or for a vacation abroad, find out the cost of it today. If it's a house, figure out the location, the size, etc. and get a good idea of what it costs today. You will be able to do this virtually for anything just by going to Google. The next thing most people will tell you is to jump into planning for it, and that would be a mistake. You need to do one more step, and that is to find out what you really value in the things that you want. Let us see what you will find out when you try and answer this. I just loved this movie, The Bucket List, and I hope you watch it. Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman are two old men when they meet in a hospital, where they confront the fact that they will soon die. They decide to live whatever time they have left doing the stuff that they really want to do, and they put it together in a bucket list. Since they won't be around for very long, it is a list of things they deeply value. It reminded me to think once again about what I really value in life and how I should be living the rest of my life. How do you find this out? We can find this out by trying to put the items on our list in a descending order of importance. That is, the most important on the top of the list, followed by the next most important, and so on. Now, before you start doing this, I want you to remember that you are not going to eliminate anything or rank them lower because of what it costs and the difficulty of doing it or achieving it. That's not important right now. You rank them purely on the basis of how important you feel they are. When you start ranking them, you will find it a little confusing. That's because we don't know what's the deeper need that we are seeking to satisfy through any of these items. That's because multiple needs are packed into one thing. So let's start unpacking them. Let's understand this through an example. Let's take the goal of a dream house. Probably this is what you would have written. I want to have my own house with 3 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen and 2 balconies facing some nice open space and in so and so location. Now ask yourself, why do you want this? What does this allow you to experience? What does it mean to you to have this? Why is this important to you? The answer may be, I always wanted a house of my own, a nice comfortable one with lots of space. And why is this important to you? Because I grew up moving from one place to another, usually in small apartments, and I couldn't get any quiet space. And why is that important to you? Because I enjoy sitting quietly and listening to music and reading when I get back home from work, and also every morning. I'd like to start my day with yoga and meditation, maybe even reading a bit before I get to work. And why is that important? Because it's peaceful. I like that. And why is it important that you own it? I don't know, but I don't want to keep shifting nor have my family go through that. I prefer the known and the familiar, I guess. This example shows what this person values in a house and what values are important to this person. It's about being at peace, returning to things familiar, and having certainty or constancy. This person is not going to buy a house in a noisy environment, nor a small house in a posh locality, which may cost the same. He would be okay to travel to his workplace if required. The house has to provide him with the peace and quiet that he values. Maybe these are his overarching values, the particular value or values that drives his decision making and gives him the greatest joy and meaning. Now do this with the items in your bucket list. Once you do this, you will have clarity on what you want in each goal and you will be committed to achieving it. The next step is to figure out how. Without a concrete financial plan, reaching your financial goals is just hope. So that's what we'll do next. Now, you cannot make a proper financial plan without a proper financial planning tool. If you're already subscribed to a paid plan on Money Works For Me, you have access to an amazing tool to make this happen. Let's start. The first thing that you must do is what I call putting your financial house in order. Here, you put all the relevant information in one place so that you can make informed decisions. I suggest you first see what you need to do in each step and then do it on the Money Works For Me financial planning tool. Start using it by entering the user information. Use the tooltip to better understand what each data point is about. The next tab is about your living expenses, and you can put it all in one place using the cash flow tab on the Money Works For Me tool. As you can see, this is all about how much money flows in through your salary, including your spouse's earnings, and how you spend it and how much you save. Once you have done this, you will know what you are saving currently. Whether this is adequate will depend on your goals, current assets, and your liabilities. That is what you own and what you owe in the form of loans. To take stock of your assets and liabilities, click on the relevant tab. Use the Asset Details tab to fill in the details of the assets that you currently own. This should include the current value of the stocks and mutual fund holdings under the equity and debt, fixed income assets like FDs, cash, debt funds, provident fund, etc. And gold, the one that you physically own or own as an ETF. Use the liabilities details to fill in all the loans that you currently have taken. This will include your housing, car, personal education loans, etc. The current outstanding balance, the rate of interest, and the number of years left, and the EMI. Now, to find the family net worth, click on this tab. Next, you need to check if you're adequately insured. Now that you have your assets, liabilities, and cash flows in one place, the next step is to check if you have the minimum life insurance required to provide for your family. This should include the money required for all the goals that are non-negotiable. That is, goals that you need to provide for even in your absence. This gets updated once you have set your goals. Now that you have your financial house in order, you have completed a very important step that will enable you to make money decisions knowing the full picture of your financial situation. After that, let's find out what you need to do for your bucket list. This is again best done with the help of the financial planning tool.